Okay, so today I'm going to talk about your blocks and the difference between your blocks and your bricks. Okay, bricks are generally made of clay with cement, while your blocks, like your 9 inches hollow blocks, 6 inches hollow blocks, and even your seal blocks, it's made of cement and combination of different fine aggregate. Fine aggregate, I'm talking about sand generally. Another thing I want to talk about is the dimension for blocks is different from the dimension for bricks. Bricks are smaller, while blocks are bigger, just like I have shown you initially. There are requirements for your blocks. I don't want to talk about bricks now because what we use mainly is blocks. You don't just pick any type of blocks to use for your construction, because some of the buildings we do, these blocks serve as load bearing walls, and so it is important that your block should meet a certain standard so the blocks itself can also withstand some level amount of loads. Okay, based on our codes, our construction codes, our building codes, there are requirements for your blocks, there are requirements for the minimum strength of your blocks, and I think for the British code, we have, I think minimum is 3.5 Newton per millimeter square. There are situations where you may not have the compressive test on site for you to test your block to know if it is strong. But I'm going to show you a simple way you can do this whenever you have a delivery of your blocks on site. So this is what you can do. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick on-site test on my blocks. Okay, so watch and see how I do this. Okay, so you can also replicate it on the site. So I pick a 9 inches block. Okay, I'm going to lift it to a meter, 1 meter height. I throw it on the floor. You can see it's still active, nothing is happening. I increase the height, nothing is still happening. I'm going to still increase the height again. Okay, nothing is still happening. So right now I'm going to change the orientation of the blocks. Okay, with this orientation, this block should break more easily. Okay, but let's see. I try the first height. Okay, let's go there. Fine, the blocks is good. I'm going to increase the height again. This is very good. This is beautiful. I increase the height again. I throw it on the floor. It's still very active. Okay, so let me now try this. Okay, I just get careless. I just try throwing it anyhow. Let me see if it's gonna break. You can see what I'm doing. The block is still very active. This is very, very strong. Here is the report for the blocks you're seeing now. Okay, you can see the weight of the block. You can also see the strength of the block for 7 days. So I know you may not have this because number one, it's expensive and most clients may not be able to afford it, but it is important to have blocks at least. If you are able to do this test I just showed you now, and your blocks still stand, it is very important, it's good. And even when your blocks breaks, there is a pattern it breaks, a stronger block breaks, it doesn't just scatter like sand, because people tend to maximize profit in the production of this thing. You see somebody using 1 bag of cement to produce more than 50 pieces of 9 inches block, which is not really good. So these are the things you need to know. So try to do this test on site before you can now decide to take delivery of more material, because some of these blocks, they serve as load bearing walls. Okay, in a situation where maybe plumbers, electrician, they always forget to put the pipe, maybe so they come later to put the pipe and they're trying to break. You shouldn't have the blocks where a little pressure on it is breaking the whole thing altogether. Okay, so another thing again is the load from your roof can impact that block. So most times you see some shear cracks on the walls as a result of the load. And if you don't have a strong block, if you're having like a door and somebody's banging a door with force, occasionally if this thing happens, it causes shear on the walls because those blocks are not strong. You understand? And there are some times where you're trying to put a nail on the wall, so the nail can't stick because the block is not strong. And even when you try to pressure, look for different locations to put your nail, the impact of trying to put the nail in the blocks can also cause shear in other areas you may not know. So it's important for you to have a solid block on site in case there were any eruption plenty. Those blocks can withstand the weights, the extra loads. Okay, it's important. So share these videos for other people to learn. See you guys.